JJ Abrams has hyped up the final shot of Rise of Skywalker, and he says he doesn't want this spoiled. That's the headline on this week's Force Friday show.
And Stephen, yes, this is obviously a continuation of last week's headline where we spoke about Kevin Smith and his bewilderment over, or wonder over the obviously carnivorous settings of Pinewood Studios and being whisked into one particular set and being told this is the final shot of the movie, but don't look if you don't want it spoiled. And now obviously JJ has been speaking about this very thing, and apparently he doesn't want it spoiled either.
No.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Stephen, what does surprise me is perhaps some of the information that has been leaking out about the Rise of Skywalker. We've been hearing various different things from making Star Wars and whatnot, and it's not like JJ. He's obviously a firm advocate of the mystery box.
Yes.
Sort of a way of doing things where you keep the audience completely in the dark until they sit in their seat and watch the movie for the first time, or perhaps hop onto Reddit a couple of days after it's released and have everything spoiled for them. What's your thoughts on this?
JJ Abrams, his previous of having key scenes being leaked after the film's release. This is I'm talking about the death of Han Solo. Prior to that, I don't think he's experienced that with The Force Awakens. That was actually quite well under wraps, as I recall. It wasn't until the film's release. I think we went to see it maybe 2 days after, one day after it's released.
Yeah, we always go on this Sunday, Steve.
Which was a bit of a problem because I think you'd uncovered some rabbit holes, John.
That was The Last Jedi, I think.
That was The Last Jedi.
Force Awakens, I think. It was just really Han Solo.
But I get it, you know, especially if it's... This is going to be the final shot, the final scene of the saga.
Yeah.
And it's been built up thanks to his friend Kevin Smith, who was crying again because of this scene. I understand what he's saying, but it's a typical director's response that they don't want their film spoiled with especially key moments. They want to get bums in theatres. That's what director's job is to do. If he wants to please the producers. So I get where he's coming from. It's something that I try my best to avoid, especially if maybe we leave it a couple of days before we go to see the film, because by that point the cat is out the bag. It's very hard to do these days, but he's totally right. I think if this scene is getting built up the way it is going to get built up over the next few months, I don't want to be going into this knowing what it is.
Stephen, especially if it's a scene like what you conjured up in last week's show, perhaps with multiple characters from the past throughout the Skywalker saga popping up, maybe tipping the hat and giving a fond farewell to this incredible story, which is obviously overarched over the better part of 40 years. You don't want that spoiled before you go in. You also don't want it spoiled months in advance. Which will never happen anyway. Kevin Smith certainly wouldn't blab.
As long as it's not a bunch of Gungans on a roof saying "We's are free."
We's are free, yeah. Something like that. Obviously, the generation growing up, I was one of them though, and I don't really like that. So maybe I'm talking utter nonsense here, Stephen. But as I did say, if it is such a monumental, and it will be, obviously a defining moment for the Skywalker saga and just the Star Wars brand as a whole. And it's very important that he does keep this under wraps.
It could be Lando clapping in time this time.
Yeah, could be. Will he make the end? I very much doubt it. He's a legacy character, Stephen, and we know how Kathleen and the Lucasfilm view the legacy characters with utter disdain. Unless you're Princess Leia, then obviously you can actually make it to the end. But I'm not going to go on about that, Stephen. I'm over the moon that we're getting to see Princess Leia, so I'm going to backtrack immediately there. I hope we see a whole lot of Carrie Fisher in this movie. Cannot wait to see how they bring this in via rotoscoping techniques and whatnot, but I digress. That's a completely sidetracking tangent I'm going off on again. I seem to do that every Force Friday show, but
it's the excitement of Star Wars.
Excitement of Star Wars. It gets me all befuddled, Stephen. I just can't help myself. The anticipatory juices are flowing mentally here for the Rise of Skywalker. But Stephen, I'll finish off this brief little headline topic by saying this is something we've seen really hitting the mainstream and just social media in general with various different releases. We've seen it with obviously Endgame. Can't recall the other one, but there was another one where they're urging people not to spoil the movie. Keep it under wraps, keep it to yourself. Obviously it doesn't happen. You see it over in China and whatnot, idiots coming out of the theatre and screaming to people queuing to go in and see it what happened, and then they get the shit beat out of them, and rightly so. But I think this is just a growing thing with the rise of social media and modern day instant gratification we want to be getting from certain things like movies and music and whatnot. You're going to see more of this. The director, the studios, and just the people involved in the filmmaking process, the actors, coming out and urging people, don't spoil it, don't spoil it. But again, JJ has nothing to worry about because it's his good friend Kevin who has been perpetuating these, is that a word? I don't even know, these tales of the carnivorous Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kevin Smith was going on about that previously as well, how it's like a small country, this production, and he was just amazed that this was storytelling like he'd never seen before and how he was not fit to be in the presence of JJ Abrams. I completely disagree. But look, Stephen, we shall move on to the next topic. This one is a fairy, so it's right up Mike Zero's obviously path, whatever.
Yeah, keep it clean, John.
Keep it clean, yes, I will keep it clean. I love Brian May, it's all good. But Stephen, it's all about the origins of Rey and the Rise of Skywalker. This leak apparently suggesting that it may be different to what we have seen before. Now, I've read through the article, Stephen, and I am once again a little bit befuddled. This is coming via Reddit, via Esquire, apparently. Posted on Reddit via Esquire. Yeah, not too many vias in there for my liking. But apparently it's just that in the image of Rey's timeline, the text describes a tiny Rey watching helplessly as a starship pulls away. That's just the scene we've seen in The Force Awakens.
Yes, yeah.
But what they're saying is, I think that, in a sense, and I'll try and shorten it down here, that if our parentage or lineage, as Kylo states in the Rise of Skywalker, the Last Jedi, is that of paupers and the filthy junkards in a pauper's grave on the Jakku Desert, then why is she viewing them flying off in this ship? Why would they be flying away from a planet they then subsequently come back to and then die in paupers' graves?
We never know that is a parents flying off. It could be the transport, the person that's got the transport that's dropping it off.
Could be,
yeah. We just don't know. It was a very... it wasn't a very much a detailed scene. It was part of the flashback, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. Was it part of that whole flashback thing that went on?
It may have been. Yeah,
because it went into blackness after the spaceship flew off. I've always maintained that Kylo Ren is not telling the full truth here in The Last Jedi with Rey's parentage. That's not to say that I think she's a Skywalker or anything like that. That'll be remain to be seen. I still think that line was put in there because they had to put something in, because if they were keeping it as a reveal for the third part of this trilogy and not mentioning it or not even dealing with it in any sort of fashion in The Last Jedi, a lot of fans would have been more peed off than they already were with that film. So I think that's a bit of a red herring, that line about her parents dying in a pauper's grave or whatever it was.
He's manipulating her.
Yeah, I think so.
I
think that's what it is. At this point, I think Rey's still conflicted. She obviously was tricked by Snoke into thinking, there was still, well, it was to a point because he conflicted. He executed Snoke, but that was for the sort of the bigger picture for him, because
he had obviously his mother Leia in his crosshairs. Yeah, he couldn't bring himself to press.
He was conflicted himself, but I still think that was a red herring, John. I think there's still a little bit more to this, but I don't know if it's as big a reveal as we're going to think it is.
Well, Stephen, diving further into the actual theory, clicking on the Esquire link, it's coming from leaked concept art from, I think, perhaps one of those big annual books I think you get. Yeah. I don't actually know the name of the book, but you've got a few.
The visual dictionaries,
Visual dictionaries from I've got a couple from the original trilogy. Yeah. And it's little excerpts giving you a timeline of Rey's origins, not her actual lineage or whatnot. And they're saying that she gets marooned on an unfamiliar world, the unfamiliar world of Jakku, and her parents disappear.
Right.
So I can understand what they're saying. That does slightly conflict. Obviously, Kylo Ren's telling of the story. If she's been marooned, left alone, abandoned on this unfamiliar planet, and they have went off, why would they then be lying in paupers' graves on said planet where they've marooned their child? Yeah. It doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't add up. No. And I think it does maybe just, again, go into what you were saying about this potential for him lying to her just to get her onto his side. That's what I've always maintained was happening there as well, Steen. I think it was, perhaps there's maybe an element of truth in what he was saying, but he's manipulated it in a way so as to try and get her to obviously come by his side, like obviously Vader was trying to do with Luke in the original trilogy. So I don't know what it means for her lineage. I don't think it will mean anything. I think that, as I've said time and again, she will be buffed from the Force in some way. I think Palpatine coming back will have some part to play in this, orchestrating it. As we know, he buffed Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
He manipulated the midichlorians in the Force and made this child be born. Strange choice of Shmi Skywalker for a mother though. It's just very strange. But it gave us that iconic name of Skywalker, so who is really complaining? Not me. But Stephen, it's intriguing. It is intriguing. The slight conflicted tellings there. With her saying she was marooned and then it doesn't marry or jive, as they like to say in the 70s. So again, we're getting back into the Star Wars flyboy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So perhaps it will be another indication that JJ will be retconning some of what we've seen in The Last Jedi and going off and maybe bringing it back closer to where he seen for his vision of the overarching story of the sequel trilogy. I don't know.
The thing is, it's troubling though when you mention the next director retcon in the previous film, and that happened in the previous film, is it kind of sums up this trilogy, John. You know?
Discombobulated. Yes, that's a word I've been using a lot today, Stephen. But look, I'm not going to get any further discombobulated about Rey's lineage and her origins. We will find out in December.
Yes,
whether,
we will.
I'm right or not, whether she's been buffed from the Force or whether she is indeed a Skywalker or maybe she's just Jay, I don't know, Doe.
Maybe
Jay, John Doe, Ray Doe.
Daughter of Sifo-Dyas. That was another storyline that just went away, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked, Stephen, but look, we shall move on.
Yes, please.
A long and winding and winding article about Star Wars' Captain Phasma and how she's become much more than a boring masked badass. And Stephen, it is so long, I will try and shorten it by saying and condensing.
Bullet point it.
Yeah, bullet point it by, well, I'll put a lot of bullet points up with my finger. Basically what they're saying, number one, Stephen, is that she has been revealed through further medias, i.e. through the comics and novels and whatnot, to be this slightly selfish and conniving character who will utilise every trick in the trade to survive and live on to fight another day, and she will surrender her own forces to further her own longevity. And one of the tricks she uses is this mask and this gold chrome, or no, not gold chrome, chrome dome.
Chrome dome, yeah.
Yes, and she will utilise this sort of image of being this almighty figure within the First Order, the great Captain Phasma, to put slams to the slaughter and further their own longevity. So what do you make of it? They're comparing her to Boba Fett.
I don't need the comic book to tell me that. I kind of sensed her kind of way of way of life and the brief scenes we saw her in, because that's basically what the vibe I got was they're basing this character off Boba Fett. So this seems to be the thing that Star Wars or Lucasfilm does when they don't want to deal with things in films. They start putting side stories and backstories into other formats, whether it be a novel or whether it be a comic. Sometimes it's better to do that, especially with characters that are more sort of cult-like rather than main characters. I would probably say Captain Phasma falls into that category, John.
Yeah.
You don't really want to be bogged down with a standalone film on Captain Phasma.
No.
Who would like to see that? I don't want to see a Boba Fett standalone film. I'm not that interested. I think
there'll be people out there
enough meat on the bone. You could probably flesh it out, but that's why we're getting the Mandalorian, because although they're not, I don't think so anyway. I'm assuming here that the Mandalorian is it's obviously a different character, but it is a spin on the Boba Fett character. Obviously, there's differences, but that's where the inspiration came from. This character, on the other hand, was such a letdown. The hype of this character from those early trailers from The Force Awakens kind of indicated that this character was going to be a big part to play, and it turned out that she wasn't. She was basically just a bully for Finn, and that was it. I think perhaps if Finn and Phasma had that fight instead of that trooper that Finn was fighting midway through the film, it might have been a different story. A lot of people argued that's what they should have done, but they didn't.
What would they tell about that, Stephen, that they could be going off in a side arc and continuing this rivalry between Captain Phasma and Finn in the Last Jedi? and that perhaps it would be something that would overarch over the 3 movies and we'd see a conclusion at the end, but at the end it was rather disappointing, the way it was all concluded.
It was very flat,
many things in The Last Jedi, incidentally.
Yeah.
But Stephen, what they do say is basically it started off clearly as a marketing tool, the Captain Phasma character. Obviously, iconic sort of a uniform,
It's a cool looking character.
So they've utilised that to obviously draw in extra income from merchandising and whatnot, as Star Wars has been renowned for doing over the years. George knew what he was doing when he was manipulating the younger demographics to go out and buy cool stormtrooper suits and whatnot and lightsabers.
Yeah.
So it's something that's been done again and again, but what they are saying is that through the furthering of the story, through comic books and novels, she's been revealed to be a slightly more multi-layered and complicated character, quite a selfish character, and we see that in one of these images from Marvel Comics. We see various troopers within her regiment, I would imagine, all being eviscerated by the looks of it, totally killed by an explosion, and she's just walking off carelessly, not even caring about them. It's all about her. She's self-serving, self-preservation.
Yeah.
So it's very intriguing once again to see perhaps a side character set dressing, if you'd like, not getting much attention in the actual cinematic universe or cinematic stories, being more fulfilled and filled out and further.
I mean, they're basically using the characteristics of a bounty hunter, John. We saw it with Jango Fett.
That's what they do say there.
He, I can't remember that character, the Changeling. He executed her when she was about to give some information in Attack of the Clones. They're very ruthless characters, and that's where they're taking inspiration from.
Yeah, well, that's what they do say there, Stephen. They say that it's more important to be the bounty hunter than a bounty hunter. So if you can be the primary cool character in the story, sometimes that's better for longevity in terms of creating different stories, because they look cool. Perhaps they're not fairly useful in the main story. Like Boba Fett, he was completely useless. But he was such a cool looking, iconic character that they could do further things with him in other mediums. And look, I hope they continue it in future. Films, we get these interesting set dressing characters that get stories embellished out further. But it's something that's been synonymous with Star Wars for a number of years, right up to that black guy on the Return of the Jedi on Endor who had the beard in the bunker scene, shield bunker. He get turned into, I think, a character from the Clone Wars whose name eludes me at the moment.
I think it was Rebels.
Rebels.
Or was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was one of the clone troopers.
I'm trying to remember his name, but
you're right. It may have been Rex.
Yeah, that's it. That's
was it Rex? I think search him up.
I think it was not a white guy with a beard. I can't remember.
They may have been, but maybe talking crap.
But you're right, John. This is it's not a new thing.
It was Rex. I think it was.
And going back to Boba Fett, our first introduction to Boba Fett was the animated segments of the holiday special. So it's something that Lucasfilm have always done. So it's nothing new. I think it's probably the best. I think this is the best format to flesh out this character in.
Yeah, Stephen, and talking about embellishing out roles perhaps a little bit more than you should, we're going to move on swiftly to a Hayden Christensen topic. It's all about him being reunited with an iconic Star Wars Revenge of the Sith Youngling actor for the first time. I think they're over-egging it a little bit.
I think when they're saying iconic, it was the only Youngling that spoke. So.
Master Skywalker. There are too many of them. And then he gets eviscerated with a lightsaber by the now Darth Vader. But Stephen, the actor, spoke about what he would do if he'd meet Hayden again. I think it was a year prior to actually meeting him. Then he met him. I don't know which Comic-Con it was or which Star Wars celebration, but he did get a chance to meet him. It was a London film and Comic-Con that took place apparently over the weekend there. Didn't even know that. There you go. I know more about the International Comic-Con in San Diego than the one which is about 600 miles down the road from me. But look, he got the chance to meet him. It was a very exciting.
Do you know what's interesting, John? I'm actually just reading that the actor that played this young character is called Ross Beedman. Now, if you actually look at his character's name, it's mixed up of his letters. Soars is his first name. That's Ross, and Ban Dim, which is obviously
cool.
Beedman.
So an anagram, is that what you call it? Acronym, sorry.
Yeah, that's the word, John.
I'm mixing up acronyms.
This is something that Star Wars do a lot. I always laugh at the Poe Dameron one because it's clearly taken from Con Air.
Dameron and Poe. Cameron and Poe.
Cameron Poe.
Cameron.
Cameron Poe.
Yeah, they mixed that up, didn't they, Stephen? They done a little joke on that in honest trailers. But yeah, it's very cool seeing this young actor who had a little role in Star Wars, became immersed in this incredible universe and just fandom. Still maybe living off in it in some way. I'm saying that in the nicest possible way, Stephen.
No.
He's also got a chance.
If that was me, I'd be doing the same.
I'd be doing the same as well, Stephen. I'd be like your man, Anthony Daniels. I'd be living off it as much as I could. And if you've got such an iconic voice like him, then you can live off it literally through various different roles and further stories. But look, very cool to see this young guy get the chance to meet Hayden Christensen once again, such as the humbleness and the down-to-earth nature of Hayden. They hugged him, get a photograph of him, shook his hand. So it was a very cool little story, but it's very short and sweet, and we cannot scrape the bottom of that particular barrel any further. So we shall move swiftly on to the final topic in this week's Horse Friday show. And this is a very cool one, Stephen. I don't think I've ever seen this video before. It is the original screen test, the first ever Star Wars screen test, shared between Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, and it's the bold Mark Hamill who has shared it on Twitter, I think. He said, "My screen test for Star Wars with Harrison on the first day I ever met him. Neither one of us had read the script at this point. Only only this one scene. I asked George what kind of movie it was. Let's just do it, we'll talk about it later," he replied. "We never did talk about it later, we just did it." So, classic George. Getting these guys in, perhaps they'd have been put off with the fantastical nature of walking dogs and space battles and whatnot and the Force. And then they got them in and
spandex.
What a scene, the screen test that is, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously been given an idea of what, you know, the scene is about, and then they've ad-libbed a lot of it, John. I've seen a bit of this on Empire of Dreams, I think the 2004 documentary. Seeing the whole version of this, you can see at the very end I actually started laughing, because you can see that the ad-libbing is becoming a bit laboured at the end. Basically, they're throwing each other under the bus, and we know what that's like, John, because we do it to ourselves quite a bit on this show. But yeah, it shows the sort of mentality, it shows the relationship between these two actors as well, and why they got the job, they got the gig, because they work and play off each other so well. I actually liked this. It's nice to see. I've seen most of them. I've seen the Carrie Fisher one. I've seen the Kurt Russell one when he's come into audition for Han Solo as well. Rumour has it Christopher Walken was another one that came in. I've never seen the footage for that. I'd love to see that. Yeah, Stephen, I would love to see that as well, incidentally. Christopher Walken, that would be absolutely crazy, you know. But I can't do him, incidentally. I tried to do I'll not mention it. No,
she sounds very much like Christopher Walken. But Stephen, you're absolutely right. It's very cool seeing these two iconic actors, veteran actors, very much still young, prior to their being thrust into the Star Wars, the mentalness of the Star Wars universe. And just you can see elements of the characters even in this early screening test. Just you can see the angst and the youthful forlornness of, I want to say, look, if that's even a word, forlornness. I think I've made that up, but you can see the just elements of what you eventually get in the Luke Skywalker character through Mark, and you can see elements of the sort of dark, brooding nature of Han Solo. Although, as they do say here in the article, very much slightly more even keeled in the screen test. But I think Harrison was actually standing in as just a sort of a narrator figure. He was guiding the actors for auditioning for Luke through.
Initially, he wasn't going to be used because George Lucas he didn't want to use the actors they used for American Graffiti, which Harrison Ford appeared in, but he knew what Harrison could bring to the table. I'm saying Harrison's as if I know him. And he was bringing them in as exactly to read. It was just a read through for the other actors like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher to come in and play off of. It was never intended to actually play this role, but I think after so many people auditioned for the role, they decided he was the best part.
And they were absolutely right. He was the man for the part. But the final thing I'll add, Stephen, it's just you can see their ability to dance around these fantastical terms and like strange worlds and names and words and whatnot. As Harrison has said time and again about George and his dialogue, you can write this shit or type it, but you can't speak it. So it's cool to see early on that these guys just connected with the characters, they connected with this world that they didn't even know anything about, and they were able to just slide in like it was a nice pair of slippers waiting for them at the end of a hard day's night. And there's a little Beatles terminology. I loved that. I'm very thankful for Mark for sharing it, because I haven't seen that. I've seen the Appalachia Sullust. Incredible.
Another classic one, Only Mark Hamill could pull that off.
Yeah, exactly, Stephen. Once again showing Mark Hamill's propensity for saying ridiculously long dialogue and just, it made no sense. But look, I'm glad the two finally got it, because it wouldn't have been Star Wars without them. Christopher Walken's a great actor, Kurt Russell also a great actor, but sorry, Mark Hamill is Luke, and Harrison Ford is Han Solo, and Carrie Fisher was also Princess Leia. I'll not leave her out, she's not the spare rung in this trifecta of incredible characters. But look, Stephen, that is going to round up this week's Force Friday show. We discussed a whole myriad of different topics. Myriad, if I can speak. I'm getting so excited I can't even speak. What did you guys make of him? What do you make of JJ keeping tight-lipped and want to keep it spoiler-free for The Rise of Skywalker? Do you agree with him? Do you want to be shivered upon with all these various different spoilers? What did you make of this potential revealing of a different origins for Rey? She's not really from Jakku. What did you make of the whole other topics we spoke about? This young guy getting to meet Hayden Christensen once again. If you've got anything to say, comment below and let us know what your thoughts were. Like the video if you have enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and me and Stephen will both be back on Monday for MBE Box Office.